Welcome back to the bench cut. This is episode, what is this now? Episode 372? No, episode 4. Episode 4 of the bench cut. This week, joining me is Ethan Wigley from Vancouver Island. Ethan is a professional trail builder, and we've been following each other on social media. I don't even know for how long, but this is just how you make friends now. You find someone online that looks like they share similar interests, and then you invite them onto your podcast. And unfortunately, I deleted half the audio after we were done. And I guess that's why I build trails and don't do a bunch of nerdy computer stuff for a living. But we ended up redoing the second half of the show, and I think that was well worth it. It came out pretty good, so here you go. All right, man. Well, it's good to finally meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you as well.
Put a face to the person.
Yeah, man, for sure.
We've been following each other, I guess, on social media for a couple of years now.
Yeah.
And the first thing I noticed, you had a really good footprint. It was like a really beautiful footprint. And that was just in the feet pics that you sent me. But I also noticed your trail work is just gorgeous. Before introducing yourself, do you think you could pick one of your trails or projects listeners might recognize to introduce yourself with, if that makes sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I guess I was involved with the rebuilding of Double D at Mount Zuhalem last year. So that's maybe what people would, associate me with, that in like the mountain biking industry. My name's Ethan Wigley. I'm the owner of Bronson Trailworks, located here on Vancouver Island.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's wicked.
Yeah. Thanks for all the nice stuff you set up top tier too. That was very nice. Thanks.
Yeah, no problem. So you're on Vancouver Island.
Yeah.
Have you been living there your whole life?
No. Me and my spouse moved out here like 11 years now, I think. I grew up in the Okanagan.
Sick.
Grew up in Penticton. We actually moved out west from Ontario the first year Apex had their bike park open, like Apex Mountain. So that was pretty cool to be a part of, like just to ride there for the 2 years that it was open. But yeah, I've been living out here for 11 years now.
Okay, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And riding that whole time, or?
In and out, like riding throughout high school, get out of high school, start messing around, like, I'll just drink beer, hang out with my buddies. Next thing you know, 4 years goes by, you're like, holy shit, where'd the time go? Then you start trying to figure out what you're going to do with your life, and then another 4 years goes past, and then you start making a bit of money and buy a bike and then get back into it. So riding like on and off since like grade 7, but like back on the bike and loving it for like 8 years now, I guess.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Well, how did you go from a rider to a trail builder?
Funny enough, it was just kind of like, we can ride year round out here, right? So I was in one of the bike shops, and I was just buying a new helmet, and they kept saying, I was like, we were talking about the rain or whatever, and they just kept saying like, yeah, it's good digging weather. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Like, what are you saying? And then you just kind of learn about like the whole ecosystem between riding and building as you start doing it. So I just like one day, the Sooke Bike Club here had a trail day, so I just went to it, and then since then it was just kind of like slowly took over my life. Like you start riding, then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, I can like build the stuff too. This is crazy. And then next thing you know, you start a company and leave your job at the shipyard for it.
Oh yeah, that's awesome to hear.
Yeah.
Definitely jealous of you guys on the island right now. It's like finally starting to snow here.
Oh yeah.
And it's like the shitty amount, like I can deal with snow to ride in, but
yeah,
like it's just enough that I can't go dig. And I had like a couple projects I was finally getting into.
Oh no.
So jealous of you guys on the island for that. That's for sure.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I mean, I'll tell you what, it's been a huge blessing being able to work year round, starting a company, because like I had no idea how to price anything this first 2 years, year and a half. So it's been nice to be able to like continue to build all year round.
Totally.
Yeah.
How long has Bronson been a thing?
February will be year 3, like going into year 3. So I guess 2 years, almost a full 2 years.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
I was just like thinking about this today. I went for a walk this morning and I was thinking about like getting into digging and stuff. And I used to play this computer game called Freerider 2.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you ever play that game?
It's ringing a bell. Yeah,
It was like a mountain bike game, kind of. I think you're right. Like it was like a stick figure, and it looked like he's on a Norco A line.
yeah,
You
yeah,
could you could also for some reason swap between like a helicopter and a unicycle and shit.
yeah,
But it wasn't just a biking game. It was like you could draw on it and you could make like a little track for him to ride.
yeah.
And
Totally.
I used to play that so much as a teenager,
Yeah,
like when
dude.
I kind of first started getting into biking, and it
Yeah,
was like sick because you also could draw like a background in it too. So you weren't just doing stuff that had a purpose to ride on. You would actually like doing like aesthetic. And I
yeah,
was just thinking about it. It's like the first trail build. It's like a trail building computer game basically,
totally.
but it's just like total stick figure universe.
Yeah, that thing was awesome, man.
Hell yeah! What are your favorite kind of things to ride on your bike?
Uh, I like I don't know how I don't know. It's like I like it. I like everything, but like my favorite stuff to ride is like. Have you ever rode Panorama?
Uh, no,
The bike
but I
the bike park there is freaking sweet. So like anything in Panorama, it's pretty much just like some of the trails are just wide open, like pick your lines, really natural, fast, raw stuff. That's kind of
they have
the
like a lot of alpine scree. I think I've seen people ride a ton of that there.
okay, yeah. Maybe
Maybe
on
that's
the
like just outside of the park or something.
I think you can like bike to the top part of the hill there, but it's just kind of like the lower part of the mountain that it's I don't know, it's super fun. Stuff like that, stuff like Boondocker, that kind of stuff rules.
Cool.
Yeah, that kind of stuff is my favorite stuff to ride.
Totally. All around kind of. It's good to enjoy it all.
Yeah.
What do you think your favorite things are to build?
Um, that's a I've thought about this and I don't know how to
Yeah.
I don't like I honestly don't know how to I don't know if I can pinpoint one thing because like building everything like I'm lucky enough that I get to build like nature trails and hiking trails for everybody and then I get to like build bike trails too. So I think the end result of building a bike trail for me is the most fun. Like rebuilding Double D was unreal because that was one of the first trails I rode out here when I got back into biking. So for to have everything like come back full circle was pretty sweet. And a zillion people ride that trail. So the amount of fun that I know people are going to have on that trail, it was awesome. But then just like building nature trails and hiking trails for people, knowing that everybody from like a toddler up to a grandma is going to be able to walk this trail and have a nice experience in the woods is also nice. I don't know how to like quantify it to what's my favorite,
Totally.
but
There's like definitely is nice just like knowing lots of other people to be able to ride it. I don't know if I've really built much hiking trails I can think of right now,
no,
but that's kind of a cool thought too to know that like dog walkers and grandmas are going to be enjoying it too.
yeah, totally, man. It's cool.
Good to have like a wide variety, I guess.
Totally. And stuff like that, like building nature trails and hiking trails is where the finishing aspect of it gets a little bit sweeter because like building bike trails, people don't really realize that you've like naturalized right up to the trail, like the trail's edge, right? But
Totally.
hiking, if you walk through a hiking trail that's been built by a machine, generally you can tell. So that's kind of where
Yeah, you're going a lot slower and you can pay
you
attention to
can
those aesthetics you're normally just whizzing by on a bike trail.
totally.
I guess that's where climb trails are kind of nice because they're going slow enough to actually look at all your aesthetic work.
Yeah, totally.
Cool. What do you think your local riding scene does well?
I think the local riding scene here does a really good job of advocating for stuff. We're not necessarily the greatest at like getting things done just because of where our riding scene is in the South Island. There's a lot of local government involved because most of it is in parks, not like timberland or anything like that. So they do a really good job of advocating. They do a really good job of like creating community with like local fiver races and dig days and stuff like that. So I think that's something they do great. And also like the core group of volunteer builders that we have in Sooke do like a bomb-proof job, just like start to finish. Like the whole trail is like aesthetically pleasing. It rides great. There's hardly any water issues, if any. It's all built like it's built bomb-proof. So that's another thing that they do great too.
Awesome. Yeah. Fuck, I need to get down to the island sometime. Like, I think in the first podcast I did, I said, oh, we're going to be doing an island trip next month. And that never happened. We've pushed it to spring now.
Oh, no
And
way.
like, it feels like my whole life. Like, I've been to the island a fair bit, but only when I was a kid and not really to ride much.
Right.
But I'm constantly seeing all the riding coming out of there, and it just looks so damn lush. Like
It's
in Kamloops here, it's so like it's awesome riding too, of
Yeah.
course, but it's like a total different vibe, like all dusty and dry.
yeah.
And the variety of riding down there looks incredible.
There's
Tons of builders.
yeah, there's tons, man. So you're in Kamloops.
Yeah, Kamloops, like just below Sun Peaks. Like
Okay.
I've been kind of back and forth between here and Revelstoke for the past couple of years.
Right. Yeah, that's where I thought you were located, was Revelstoke.
It's like actually crazy how big BC actually is. Like it's
Right,
insane.
man?
Like you always know it is, but like until you really like go and drive and see the whole thing, like
Yeah.
you drive for 14 hours straight and you're not even like halfway up through the, and then it's like beside the whole mainland, there's like an entire country basically on an island,
Yeah.
and it's just all known as BC riding.
It's nuts, man. Yeah, we were just up in Terrace for a month this year, doing a skills park. I was just a subcontractor on that job, but like driving back through that whole area, like the Caribou and everything like that, it was nuts. Terrace is awesome too. The riding up there is sweet.
Yeah, actually, like I probably shouldn't even say it on here, but it's like almost like a Squamish without all the people a little bit. Like
100%. The rock's super similar, hey?
Yeah, tons of slab, like beautiful forest too, and Copper Mountains, like some of the steepest gnarly trails I've ever been on, I think.
Yeah, dude.
I think it had like a big washout like a couple years ago, maybe.
A couple years.
I got to
gnarly.
ride just before that.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
Gnarly. Some of the gnarliest, like you're just like on a cliff face, basically, like on these little bridges and stuff, and you see like a river below you, and you're like crossing back and forth.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So you were building a skills park up there?
Yeah, I was subcontracting to like a pump track builder, basically. They do skills parks as well, called Bike Track.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so we were up there building like a skills park and a little kids, what do you call it, pump track thing.
Okay, right on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you do quite a variety of builds then, hey?
Yeah, to keep myself going full time.
Pump tracks and stuff.
Yeah, like I'll usually subcontract to Bike Track to do the shaping of the asphalt and everything like that, and then just kind of to supplement income, because it's tough to keep work all year round, right? So
absolutely, yeah. Especially like in BC, like we get hard winter. Like maybe on the island, it's easier to keep yourself going. I usually just jump in a snowcat for the winter.
Yeah, I saw that's pretty
keep
cool.
Myself going.
Do you find that kind of translates to machine building?
A little bit. I think there's like the finishing. I think the blade work, like back blading and stuff. I like doing a lot of blading in an excavator for shaping. But I find like a snowcat, like one of the goals, especially with like park building, is you want to just move as much bulk material as you possibly can.
Okay.
And I try not to keep that idea so much as building trails. I'm almost trying to figure out ways to move less material and achieve the same effect by moving less of it. So there's things that do translate, like speed for a jump is kind of similar. There's like rules with snowpark building where you want a lip to be, it's like a 1-1-2 ratio where the lip and the gap distance are the same, and then the landing's double that. You can kind of apply that math to like jump building with mountain bikes a fair bit.
Interesting. Cool.
But also snowcats are just such a big machine. Like your footprint is insanely huge compared to like trails, where the footprint I like to do is a little bit smaller. Like if it was up to me, I would almost just be building single track all the time with like normal machine wide jumps and features. And sometimes I guess clients or whoever's giving you money, sometimes they want a specific style, like a wide flow trail. Yeah. But also it's like snow, it's all just one white blank kind of canvas, where trail building, you're in so many different types of environments. So a snow park across the world might look exactly the same as a snow park that you're building here. Totally. Versus trail building. It's just like everything is different. Kind of like we were just saying how vast and diverse BC is itself. Cool. How about let's talk about more of the technical aspect of it, like your building process start to finish. Let's say there's someone that wants you to build a simple, maybe it's like your standard enduro trail or something like that. How would your process work there from showing up to a finished product?
I think I don't know if it's super dissimilar to everybody else's, but like I kind of walk like usually you come with all those projects I've done anyways. I show up and they've had like a flagged corridor, and then you kind of get the say to kind of jump back and forth between whatever. Like you get to design the line, but there's a corridor. So normally I'll walk it, and then sorry, I don't know what that beeping was.
Oh,
Um,
that's okay.
Normally I'd walk it, kind of get like the first 50-ish meters figured out, jump in the machine, start building, and then usually I'll like just kind of pinball through and use like trees and stuff to. I basically just let the forest decide everything,
Totally.
and that's pretty much the long and the short of it. Like as you're stripping away, the ground kind of shows you where features want to be, where berms want to be. If you want to get like one thing that I used to do a lot that was to a detriment was like have an idea in my head and force it in there.
Totally.
Nine
That's a
times out
great
of 10,
point.
that shit never worked. It was always janky, and yeah, you ended up having to rip it out and just put in nothing basically, or like you screwed up 15 meters above you to get to where you thought something had wanted to go, right? So now, like I've taken a way like less determined approach, I guess you could say, where you just kind of let the forest dictate and then use your riding experience and like that kind of stuff to build the trail to suit the
Totally.
natural
And
topography.
it's not a test question either, because we all have different
Yeah,
processes and ways of
totally.
doing
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. No,
There
I'm
is
just,
no
you don't really think about this kind of stuff. You just kind of get in there and start
start doing it.
doing it. So,
Totally.
yeah.
And like you always have a different process too, slightly depending on the project is.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
definitely know what you're talking about when you kind of have a vision in your head and you try to force it and just there's something slightly, it's never quite the same when it's actually in the forest.
Yeah.
It's almost like what makes trails so unique is that the forest does dictate it unless you're totally like bulldozing everything, I guess, to start from a parking lot.
Yeah.
But seems like you're not really that type of guy. So
No. It's, I try to keep everything as small and as tight as possible where, like, when the client wants it.
so your work is a lot of machine work, obviously.
Yeah.
More so when you're building these, because it's like a very single track footprint is what I see a lot of your pictures are you kind of climbing around on the sides, or are you like bringing it back in narrow?
That's pretty much it. Like if we're doing single track stuff, it's kind of evolved where I had the machine out front and I was stripping towards myself and then just piling everything behind me and just kind of like stripping that way. But that wasn't a very economical way of building with the price per meter and how long it took to build 25 meters of trail. So now like what I'll do is I'll shrink the tracks where I can, and then I'll strip like that 3 feet or whatever in front of me, and then just kind of dig little pits and build as I go out in front of me. And then as I move forward, I'll turn around and then just like squish everything back in. And then I have a trail finisher that comes in behind me and like replants everything and cuts into drains and everything like that.
Oh yeah, well, it
Yeah.
looks good.
Yeah.
When
Thanks,
you
man.
say narrowing tracks, it sounds like you're in a 17.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm in the 17.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love the 17s.
Yeah. It's
I
awesome,
used
man.
to I used to think they were like pointless. I was like, well, at a machine that small, you might as well just dig it by hand.
Totally.
And then I actually got in one, and they're like it feels like an exoskeleton. It's like a building
Yeah.
exoskeleton, basically.
Yeah, man.
You're like making the trail you would be making by hand, but so much more efficiently.
Totally.
And now that's my favorite machine, hands
Yeah.
down, to use.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Are you usually in a 17, or do you kind of mix it up depending on the project?
No, I'm usually whenever I'm doing stuff for my own like Bronson, I'm in a 17. I bought one the first project I got. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna go for it. I went out and bought a machine and risked everything. But like for the skills parks and everything like that, we're in machines from like, a 4-ton Kubota with a steel wrist, which is sick. And then we were using a Cat 315 this summer up in Terrace to like bulk everything in, which was even sicker.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Feels like pretty powerful, I guess, when you go from just the 17 into a big machine that can scoop a ton
totally.
all of a sudden.
Yeah. Then I got back in my 17 like 2 days after getting back from Terrace to do a small just like a gravel pathway, and it felt hilarious just to get into a machine where you're in a cab. You could have your backpack, like 3 coffees, Bluetooth, wrist bucket, or like a tilt bucket, and then get in your 17, you're like, holy smokes, this thing is so slow. It's just funny.
It's fast when you're just cutting along until you maybe want to build a feature or something, and then
Yeah,
all of a sudden it slows right down for you.
totally.
That's for sure. I spent most of my summer in a 35 and a little 17, and then a couple of weeks ago I did a day of work for a guy, and I was in his like giant 180 excavator doing his driveway, and I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah,
Like I actually have space. I'm not like falling out
totally.
of the machine basically.
Yeah.
Do you do much? I mean, obviously, you do a bit of hand digging on the side, volunteering or whatever, or even just on your own projects sometimes.
Yeah, volunteering. Like I still volunteer with the Sooke Bike Club whenever I can. So that's all hand building and stuff like that. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
I'm doing a bunch of work for a dirt bike club out here on the island over the winter, and that's all going to be hand stuff as well.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Would you say, is there anything you can think of, maybe like a lesson you've learned along the way, or a mistake you've made, maybe your techniques you've changed up in the way that you build?
Yeah,
I guess you kind of already mentioned that once already, but
like it kind of piggybacks off that, because at the beginning when I was first starting to build, I didn't want to make a single, like I didn't want to deviate from the tread at all. Like I didn't want to make an impact anywhere besides the tread. And I just would, like, I'd waste days. Granted, I was a volunteer, just trying to like figure out how to do it without making a massive mess first. But it's inevitable, especially if you're doing drainage or anything. So, one thing that I had to like really drill into my head was, you can make a bigger footprint, just be efficient, with where you're moving the organics, and just put it back once your project is done,
totally
So
clean
like
it up.
you can have a quote unquote big impact, but spend the 2 or 3 hours and put everything back where it came from. So then nobody's the wiser, only you. And then that's going to help all your stuff stand up a lot longer over time.
Yeah, it is inevitable that you'll do a little bit onto the sides, but
Yeah,
it's almost like the fun part, like the sprinkling the salt and pepper on top is doing
100%.
the aesthetics and cleaning it up.
Totally.
Like when you're newer in a machine too, it's like kind of scary because it's really easy to make a big mess if you're new to it.
Yeah,
But
big time.
after experience, you kind of figure out how to clean that up and tidy it up.
Totally.
Did you run a excavator a fair bit before getting into trails, or were you learning it kind of on the fly as you were building trails?
I had experience in excavators and like skid steers, and I operated a dozer up north as well. So like I had a bit of experience with machine operation, but nothing like trail building. So it was just kind of like figure it out as I went.
Cool.
But all the fundamentals were there, so you just kind of translated what you would do with a pick or a shovel or even a rake if you're grading everything, just to the machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say there's still tons to learn, and like I can get way more efficient in areas, but
Totally. Yeah. It never ends.
yeah, never.
It's like,
It's the
I
best.
always wonder if you're better off like being a guy that already knows how to run an excavator on a work site and then going straight to trails, or if you're better off like learning trails really good and learning excavator on the side. Like I kind of started with trails, and then
Yeah.
I went into construction for a couple of years because there's a guy who's going to train me on an excavator. Did that, and then went back to building trails with it. I'd still say it took me years to figure out how to like use it as a good trail building tool,
Totally.
because I almost got in the headspace that like, oh, I'm building a machine built trail now. I'm going to build it like this way or build it wide.
Yeah.
Where now I try to just see it as like another trail building tool to use.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is just my thought on it, but like I think having the experience building trail and then figuring out as an operator is probably the better way of doing it, because the fundamentals of building a trail are like pretty simple. Just take off the bad stuff, put on good stuff, drainage, whatever. But to have like the vision of building trail would be a lot harder for somebody who just grades from stake to stake, cuts in a ditch where it's supposed to go. You know what I mean? Like, I think
especially because excavators are kind of designed to cut squares. They're kind of designed for straight lines.
Exactly. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
Maybe do you want to go back to starting Bronson and what that process was like, starting a company?
Yeah,
That's
sure.
something I never done before. So
No.
no, not yet. I'm
Okay.
just a employee to
Gotcha.
various things.
Is it in the cards for the future, or you don't want to say anything, I guess?
I don't know. I've thought about it, but there's obviously a lot of guys doing it,
Yeah.
and I've looked into it a fair bit, that's for sure. And
Yeah.
maybe at some point I will. There's also, I don't know, benefits to working for other businesses
Yeah, for
or
sure.
organizations, I guess. So
Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of, it didn't like, I don't know how the best way of like starting the story. Like, I kind of floundered for a lot of my like young adult life, figuring out what it was that I wanted to do. I went to audio engineering school because I thought maybe I'd want to run a music studio. That didn't work out because nobody records stuff in a studio anymore. They just all do it at home. Then an opportunity came up when I moved out here to become a machinist. So I did that for a bit and I was like, oh man, I don't like this either. What am I going to do? And then I got laid off from the shipyard, I don't know, like 2021 or something like that. And then I just started building as a volunteer full time. Start kind of hanging out with other people who ride bikes and travel a bunch. And you find out that there's like a whole industry of people doing like building trails as a job. So I just kind of kept volunteering and then studied, or not studied, but like looked into how the industry worked. Just kind of learned a bunch while I was laid off. And then an opportunity came up to build some pump tracks in Victoria here. And then once I went out on the road for like 9 months. I wasn't home with my spouse or my dogs for 9 months. When I got back, I'm like, that stunk, but I want to keep doing it. And then it just kind of like, it just kind of spiraled. It's I don't really know how else to explain it. Like I'm probably doing a terrible job of saying it, but like
no, it
I
makes
knew
sense. Like,
I always wanted
fuck,
to
I don't
have.
know much about the process there. So
So like the pros, it was just like it was something that I knew. I never felt that way about doing something ever. It was just like it was something I was passionate about doing. I friggin' loved doing it, and I wanted to keep doing it. But then you look at what trail jobs are out there for like as for an employee, and they want you to hand dig in the summer for I'm not gonna for not a whole lot of money,
yeah.
and that's a tough ask. So
Yeah.
I was like, well, I can just at least try and do something myself. Like it took from like the first initial thought of starting my own thing to getting my first contract as a subcontractor. Um, that whole process was like 2 years.
Oh, crazy.
So it took a long time, like building skills and like not making any money to not making any money and doing it on my own. You know what I mean? Like
Totally.
it took a long time.
Yeah. And I'm sure like there's a ton more to it than just building a beautiful trail. Now you have to figure out how to put a price to it and how to
Exactly.
sustain yourself off of that, how
Yeah,
to meet the needs of clients.
exactly. Yeah. And that's all stuff like my grandfather's been in business for my entire life. Like he's an entrepreneur. A lot of my friends are entrepreneurs back in the Okanagan as well. So like I can kind of talk to them and figure things out that way. But like nobody can help you with pricing because one guy's a landscaper, one guy's an electrician, one guy's a marketer. They can't really help you with the pricing, but what they can help you with is like, yeah, it's gonna stink for like 3-4 years. And then if you build up enough business, then hopefully things will start like kind of rolling.
Cool. And the other hard part about it, I guess, is that like being a trail builder, you're always you'll want to do the next step more. You're always trying to put out the best product you possibly can. And I think sometimes that almost hurts, like business wise. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't know, you always want to give the best possible product as you can for a client. But I think like trail builders are just a little bit more than if you're maybe a carpenter on a work site. Like you just want it to work exactly how you want it to, I guess. And
Yeah, that's exactly it. And if like you'll do a whole project for somebody. And then if that one section that you thought in your mind, like, I want it to look like this. I want it to be lined with rock, moss right up to the rock, beautiful dirt on top. you get in there and there's no dirt, there's no rocks. Okay, well, how am I going to make this happen? So then you make those concessions in your brain. The structure and like the integrity of the trail doesn't change, but just like the vision slightly changed. Like I'll walk away from it and be like, well, that whole job was a disaster over like 15 meters of trail.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. And
Yeah.
then if you're riding it too and everyone's stoked on it, there's always going to be those couple meters and you're like, oh, if only I could like tweak that, or
Yeah.
if it came out differently than like this. It doesn't help, I guess, that social media is just absolutely full of the most gorgeous looking trails ever. And a lot of those aren't things that maybe people were paid for. They're just like, you go out and build in your own time. Maybe it's Rogue or something.
100%. I had to put a limit on my phone and get my spouse to like make up a password twice to lock me out of it, because I would just spend like a fair amount of time on it and just get so down on myself because you're seeing what other people are building and then you're comparing that to what you did where you had to make a concession. You're like, oh, well, I freaking stink. This is not good.
Totally. Well, I mean, looking at your Instagram, I think it's looking pretty fucking good, man. So.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, and like it's not fishing for a compliment or anything like that, but it's
no.
Going off of that conversation, we're like making concessions and what's best for the business as well, like because it is a business at the end of the day. Is that 10 or 15 meters in your mind, or is that 10 and 15 meters on the trail really worth you losing 3-4 days to try and get perfect? Or is the client happy with it? If the client's happy with it, ultimately, I'm happy with it. But there's always going to be like that 10% of you that's like, yeah, I wish I could just figure something out there.
Yeah. I guess it's good when you have clients too that understand their terrain. Like if they're asking for like an A-line jump trail in the middle of like some rocky whatever. Like I think most people that are going to be hiring a trail builder at this point, like understand their limitations of their terrain and what they're asking for.
Totally.
What kind of forest is it normally like that you're in? It looks like pretty mossy. Like, are you on like, is it steep grades kind of you're in, or is it more like, I've spent like no fucking time on the
island. No, most of the stuff I've been working on over the past 2.5-3 years has been pretty mellow. Like I was up in Campbell River for almost a full year. Sketchiest stuff we had to do was like traverse a bunch of rock bluffs. That was terrifying. But other than that, it's been like super mellow. The steepest grade I've had to build up was I was doing a job for a developer here in Sooke, just building nature trails. And I had to like bench through and up this slope that was like, it was so steep. It was terrifying. And it was just kind of like, it was the scariest thing I've done. And it was like in town, people working all around me, but I just had to bench up this man-made slope. It was like 1-to-1, and it went on forever. It seemed like it was terrifying.
Oh, wild. Yeah, especially like you're saying with rock bluffs, because now you can't even like dig. Now you're trying to figure out how to get across some rock.
Totally. Yeah, and it was a man-made slope. So like there's 3 feet of dirt on top, and then it was all just blast rock down below. And you're in a 17, and they have like, 35 or like 30-ton machines up top. That
true.
It was nuts. Yeah, it was terrifying.
So when you're building your kind of bench to get up there, was that part of the trail, or was that just to get the machine up to where you're going?
No, it was part of the trail. So like we had to build up this old access road and then traverse benching up this slope. So we did four separate switchbacks to get up top, but it grew like another 25 or 30 feet from the first time I looked at the job to when I was actually there, because they did another phase of the development. And that, so it just got higher and it got steeper somehow. And then like we had to deal with it.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah.
So like it was like a trail network kind of built into like a housing development. Like,
yeah, exactly. So they had a bunch of green space that they had to put in. So they had all these trails designed beforehand, and I had to just go there and like execute the designs basically. So we did 3 separate trails, and then we installed that sweet like 33-foot aluminum bridge over this creek.
Oh, I saw a picture of that.
Yeah, that was part
cool.
of
like a prefab bridge that got brought in.
Yeah,
okay,
that was cool.
When you're doing trails that are more mountain bike specific, are you bringing a bike there with you and riding it a fair bit often, or is it more of like a ride after kind of deal?
Some of it, like for like Double D, and the few other jobs I had to do in Campbell River, I would bring a bike in because I was kind of like adding berms and adding features to existing trails and like, widening the radius of a corner, fixing entry and exit points and stuff like that. So those kinds of things I had to bring a bike in and like
Totally.
test it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then when I'm
Nice.
building, like there's tons of bike trails up there that like are doubled as hiking trails. So with those ones, it's like I just kind of built it, walked it a bunch, and then rode it at the end, and it ended up being really fun.
Totally.
Yeah.
Cool. I guess on a multi-use trail, you almost don't want to have it too high speed or flow too well because you might have some hazards of hikers and Karens and stuff.
Totally. And that's the hardest thing. Like if you're building a multi-use trail for a client that's predominantly mountain bike heavy, like you want to make the client happy because they're paying you, but you have to be like the fun police in a way. Like you can't have too many berms going downhill because that's just a recipe for disaster.
Totally. Interesting. How do you find it is as a builder finding work and jobs and clients to keep yourself going? I guess you kind of build up a network over time.
Yeah, it's starting to get easier, but it's still a grind. Like I'm constantly searching online and just introducing myself to like one or two different bike clubs or municipalities a week. And most of the time you don't hear anything back. Sometimes you do, and they're just like, we'll keep you in mind. And you just kind of got to keep like looking and searching and introducing yourself, and hopefully something hits when you need it to hit. But
Totally.
it's getting easier. Like as I do jobs for different clients, stuff's kind of starting to snowball. But yeah, and
it's hard. Like a year like this year, I think a lot of people felt like there's a lot less funding going around, it seemed, this year.
Big time.
So jobs became a little bit sparser, that's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And that's also kind of where like having those people that like those working relationships with people that you respect and love working with, that's where it's good to have basically. So like in the slower months or if something comes up with them, you can kind of hop back and forth and just kind of like piecemeal your year together if you're a small guy like myself.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So you said you had a hand finisher following behind you. Is he like an employee of yours or just like someone you bring along?
Yeah. She kind of comes.
Sorry, I don't know why I said he.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Yeah, she comes along with to the bigger projects where the budget allows to. And yeah, she's awesome, man. She works her ass off. Like we're out there 10, 12, 14 hours a day if like the sun allows. And she just replants moss and replants ocean spray, cleans it all up. It's awesome. She's great.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Just going doing the aesthetics and obviously totally. all the grinding that comes along with it too though.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the fun part is the aesthetics.
Yeah. Big time.
What do you think are some of your least favorite things to see, or maybe trends in trails or mountain biking in general? It's kind of a weird question. It doesn't have to be harsh or anything like that, or maybe nothing, but
yeah, I don't know. Like there's stuff that I'm not a huge fan of, but it's stuff that people are fans of, like
yeah,
like
I guess I could frame that differently. If your riding buddies were to ask you, or they want to go riding with you, and they say they're going to ride a trail or something,
yeah,
is there? No, I guess that doesn't even make sense. It's good to like it all, I guess.
Yeah, and
to enjoy everything.
I do like it all. Like we have the Geordie Bike Park here, and it's basically like there's a nice mix of tech and flow trails. I go there and I basically just ride flow trails because we have tech trails everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll ride flow trails if I'm at home for 4 months. Like I'll basically just ride flow trails. I'll do that and I'll go ride double D and stuff like that. Just like, machine built berms, rollers, that kind of stuff. I enjoy riding that stuff too. I enjoy riding everything. There's just certain, I don't really know how to answer that question without sounding like critical or hypocritical or anything like that. So
yeah, I mean, I guess when I think of the things that I don't like the most, I'm
Yeah.
probably the most guilty of doing them in the past. So it's almost like looking back at some of my old work and being like, oh, I hate that shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I try to keep an open mind as I get older. And there's
100%.
always usually a reason why. There's something like if you don't like on a trail, something feels weird. There's probably a reason why. I guess it's like that is hard to tell
Totally.
from just riding.
Yeah. And that, like, I think that's important too. Like, some builders, like with anybody, some people have a really critical eye. But if you were to put yourself in the builder's shoes at that point in time, especially if you know the builders, like, okay, they must have ran into something here to prevent them from doing what made sense, like giving people the benefit of the doubt and operating under that wide blanket, I think is a much better outlook than being like, oh, I would have done this differently. I would have done that differently.
Yeah.
I lived that life for 4 years when I was at the shipyard, and it drains you emotionally. Like, that's no way to live life.
Yeah, totally. When you were working at the shipyard, were you still riding a bunch?
Yeah, that's ultimately, I think, what got me laid off, because I was on the night shift. So I could dig and ride during the day. And they wanted me to switch back to day shift. And I was like, no, this is a great mix. Like, I can
Yeah.
build and ride during the day, and then I can come to work at night. Everything's great. And then they're like, all right, well, you don't have a job anymore. So I said, all right, I'll just nothing's going to change.
Oh, dang.
Yeah.
The old night shift, was it like a proper like midnight kind of like?
No, it was pretty mellow. It was like 4:30 to 12:30.
Okay,
So,
right on.
yeah.
So you're doing that, you're riding your bike, you're building a bunch in your free time.
Yeah.
Sleep is probably getting put on the back burner a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. But that's
I
what
can see
Mondays
that.
were for. You got to sleep in like almost all day Monday and then go to work. So it was good.
Totally. So maybe a bit of a blessing in disguise that you ended up getting laid off from that, because it kind of forced you into the trail building world a lot more.
It forced me into it because I had wanted to take a leave from the shipyard to build. But we couldn't make it work. Like, my spouse and I couldn't make it work financially. So it was the best thing that's ever happened to me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Back in the Okanagan, what year do you think that was that you would have moved to the island? You said 11 years ago?
Yeah,
Or am I
11.
getting mixed up?
No, I moved to the island 11 years ago. I graduated in 09. So, yeah, we were in the frig, man. I can't do math. That's why that Bill shit.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. Anyways, a while ago.
Yeah.
Cool. What were your favorite riding spots around there?
We rode Powers Creek a bunch with all that all the woodwork in there was so sick. And then we rode the Mice a bit. And then I rode Apex when the bike park was kicking.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But a buddy, Andrew, that I want to get on here. I think he lives in Ontario now, but did a shit ton of building around the Kelowna area back in the day. I think he was one of the early pirates cutting in all those bridges and stuff.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the mountain that he was building on.
Wasn't he building that Gallard?
Yeah, Gallard.
Yeah. That place is sweet too. We ride there a lot when we go back there now.
Yeah, for context, for anyone listening, we already finished this fucking podcast, and then somehow I deleted half the audio track. And so here we are again, finishing the episode 2 weeks later, I think, or a week later.
Yeah, something close to 2 weeks, I think, yeah. But I think part of that might have actually been my fault, because I just exited out of it right away, and I wasn't aware that I had to stay in.
Yeah, so did I. I guess that's like the things I should read before I just... So I just deleted it all.
It's the fine print. Don't worry about it.
What have you been up to since we talked?
When we talked last time, I was doing all that work for the dirt bike club, right?
I think so, yeah.
I think. Yeah, so I was doing those signposts. And then since then, I've moved up to Nanaimo to start rebuilding, I guess, kind of thing, like safety enhancements and rebuilding a trail up there called Pink Unicorn. So it's been really fun, actually. It's like a 3-segmented trail, and then the section I'm working on just this kind of like low grade traverse through this cut block, and there were stumps everywhere and like jumps made out of just like rounds of logs with like timber framing and nails sticking out all over the place and stuff like that. So I've just kind of been ripping. Yeah, big time. I've just kind of been ripping through all the jumps and rebuilding them with dirt and rock, obviously, and like bucking off the stumps to whatever natural grade kind of thing.
Oh yeah, sweet. That's kind of fun.
Yeah,
So basically making the same jump, but then out of dirt.
totally. Yeah. Yeah. It's been good. It's been nice to be working on bike trails again.
Hell yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
It's kind of like just up the road from me. There's like a old trail Narcroft. If you ever seen that in like the movie Strength in Numbers a few years
Okay.
ago, it's like a jump line through the woods basically, but it was all built out of rounds and then
Yeah.
dirt stacked on top of that. And a few years ago, I think some kids rebuilt it because it was starting to go, and they took all the logs out and stacked it all back up out of dirt. It's pretty sick to see, but it's probably a lot easier to do with the excavator.
100%. And it's been a nice challenge too, because it's a pretty, like, it was built by hand originally, right? So it's still like a really narrow tread width. So to get the machine in there and like rip everything out and then try and rebuild everything like within the same kind of footprints, been a nice little challenge. But I've found some pretty nice rocks in there to kind of keep the framing tight and all that kind of stuff. So
That's nice.
Those, like, I think were we talking about this in the first section, where it's like, maybe this was in the second section, but rebuilding trails that are already there and like people already know is,
I think that was part of the stuff that got deleted. So yeah, we should definitely get back into that. It is, yeah.
It's so much harder because like you can't come into it with like a full creative mind. It has to more so be like, you have to be a lot more diligent to be, I'm just here to rebuild what's here just in a sustainable way. Not sustainable as in like what everybody thinks is sustainable, but like rock, dirt, nothing that's going to rot, right?
Totally.
It's way harder in my mind because you see something or you ride a trail. Like Pink Unicorn's another trail that I rode when I first started biking again. So it's kind of cool to keep getting these projects like that and Double D. But you get in there and you have all these grand ideas, and then all of a sudden you have to like really pull the reins back and be like, don't do anything stupid. Just redo what's here, make everybody happy, don't piss anybody off, and then
totally
hopefully something comes down the road.
Not pissing people off rebuilding their favorite section of trail. It's a lot easier when you're like going to like a horrible trail that's absolutely shit that nobody likes, but one that is like probably everyone likes, but it isn't maybe built out of the best material. You're
totally
sustainable. It's kind of nice.
Yeah.
It is hard too because you never know. It looks like dirt. Maybe that's like an ancient dig pit they filled back up with duff, and you spend like an hour digging it out only to realize there's no dirt there. They already dug it all out.
100%. That happened a few times up in Campbell River, and I was just like, it was, but whatever. It's all part of the gig, I guess, right? Like you get into sections when you're stripping and there's nowhere else to go. But like I was in 3 feet of duff at one point in Campbell River, just like digging and digging and digging. And I was down like the corridor or like the place that I stripped, like the trail, the tread was like halfway, like by my feet with the excavator. So I had to just like, to get everything back in was insane.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I've had it digging up old dirt jumps where you just trying to sort out their material. They just were stacking with whatever shit they could find. So there's duff in there and there's whatever. And so you go into it like, oh, there's this big pile of dirt and I'm just going to like shape it up a bit more. And you start pulling it apart and you're just pulling out ancient duff that's all rotted. It's easy to make a big mess that way, it feels like.
Oh yeah, totally, man. It is.
One of the questions I want to ask, you mentioned sustainability. And I was wondering, I want to start asking kind of everyone I talk to here what sustainability actually means to them, because you hear that word a lot, but I feel like there isn't much explanation further than just the word sustainability a lot of the time.
It's a buzzword, hey? It's just like you mentioned that, and then what Ron was saying, like safety and sustainability. You just mentioned those 2 words and like stakeholders' eyes light up. Like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. This is sweet.
Yeah.
But for me, sustainability is like making sure the trail, like any trail is going to degrade over its lifespan. It's just the way it works. But mitigating time between like maintenance overhauls, that's kind of what it means to me. Like you're always going to have, on any trail, you're going to have water on it at some point between grade reverses, between anything. It's making sure that like like you guys were talking about, killing speed before going around corners versus just diving straight into them, stuff like that. It's just like, it's a well laid out trail, it's a properly built trail, and it's one where it like mitigates most of the impact the water's going to have.
Cool.
In my eyes,
Totally
that's
agree.
kind
Yeah.
of
I was listening to this podcast last night, and I'm not going to say who it is. It was like a builder out of the States, and they're getting into the whole talking about rogue trails and new trails. And he was going off about how rogue trails are totally unsustainable all the time. And then I searched him up and looked at his work, and they were basically just cutting logging roads. I think they were building hiking trails, but it was full on road width, and it was like just like trees down everywhere. And I was like, man, I don't know if that's more sustainable than
right.
Who knows? Maybe they were building it for quads or for logging trucks or something. Who knows?
Yeah, and I find it's tough because like as a professional, I don't know about everybody, but like sustainability should be the number one thing you're looking at, right? Like you don't want to take X amount of money from somebody and give them something that within a year is going to have to be, they're going to have to put a bunch of money back in to refurbish. I think it's poor business practice, first of all. And it's like, it's not really the right way of doing things in my eyes, but it's kind of like, where do you draw the line? Because sometimes just ripping straight down for 30 meters is fun into a big berm, like where's the line drawn? And like, when do you, I guess it kind of depends on the style of the trail you're building and the level, like blue, green, black, whatever. I guess that kind of factors into it too. But there's some trails you see where it's like cost X amount of dollars. It was the hardest trail ever built. And then you see videos of it and there's water running everywhere. Like, how the hell is this sustainable? And how did you charge that amount of money to build the thing when there's still a river going down it? Like, there's hardly any water mitigation. It's I guess it's in the eye of the beholder, right? Like, what do you deem sustainable versus what is, it's all very ambiguous, I guess.
It also, I think, like a big part of it is how many people are actually going to be riding your trail. Plays a big role into it. I don't want to say you can get away with more on like a trail in the middle of nowhere that only a few people are going to ride, but something outside of maybe a ski hill seems to hold up a lot better than something out of ski hill. That's for sure.
Yeah, big time. Yeah. What's it like at the bike ranch there? Because that probably sees a lot of traffic, right?
Yeah, it does. For living in Kamloops, I really got to go ride the bike ranch more. I haven't even done it full top to bottom fistful since I was like 16.
Oh, no way.
I don't know what's wrong with me going bitch mode these days. But I can't speak too much to the bike ranch because I've never actually dug there. But I've got buddies that have worked there for a long time. I think the biggest thing there is just how dry it gets.
Right.
It's like almost like snowboard building because it's just clay, so you can just stack it like snowboard jumps.
Okay.
It gets pretty heavily trafficked. I know that, but they also have like I think a 4-person crew that works there.
Full time?
Yeah, full time.
Sick.
As far as what I know. And I think their biggest challenges are like weed growth is a big one because it just gets so much sun and it's so open there. So anything you disturb gets weeds growing all over it, and like invasive weeds I know is a bad issue in Kamloops. I was talking to Sheffer a little bit, and he was saying he's been packing like all the sides of everything they excavate a lot more because that holds the weeds back from growing, opposed to if it's just left all fluffed up.
Oh, interesting.
But there's that dirt is like super, it's very clayey, so anywhere they are breaking hard, it definitely like washes out quite a bit. I know there's a couple spots where it looks like they're always reworking. I think in the first podcast, when I was talking to Ollie, I mentioned this one shark fin that's on a trail called Wrangler there, and it's this massive pile of dirt, like huge shark fin, and it's so sick to ride. But that thing, I noticed like every month they basically have to rebuild the face of it.
Crazy.
Yeah. One of the most funny story about sustainability I was remembering last night when I was working, like when I was 20 years old, I built this like giant fucking blue trail. And at the time it looked really good. And after it was done, like it was like fucking 1 trillion giant berms, which I've probably blabbered on about on each of these podcasts. These giant berms I was building back in the day, but like huge footprint. It took us so long to build this thing. And I guess after we built it, there was a big crew from like a government agency that happened to be in town, and they went and rode it. And they're like, "Oh, this is the most sustainable trail we've ever seen." They're so stoked on it. And
No
like
way.
a month later, the whole thing was just fucking trashed. And that's
Oh
why I stopped
man.
building that way. But I was like,
Yeah.
I was like, maybe they don't really know what sustainability actually means. Like it visually looked great when it was first done, but like it
Yeah.
didn't even last a quarter of the time it took to build that trail.
Crazy. And that was just switchbacks, hey? Like berm, traverse, berm.
Pretty much, yeah. And the traverse in
Yeah.
between there wasn't very much of that. And when there was, it was still just like a big wide road. Wasn't so much
Gotcha.
grade reversals. There's like a few tabletops here and there, and like,
Yeah.
I'd say the drainage was pretty on point, but as far as speed control, there was none of that. And that was the most overlooked thing that made that trail not so sustainable.
Big time.
But to all these people, they were stoked on it because it was this big wide blue trail with all these big berms that they could just whatever. They didn't really have to think, but all the braking that was going on wasn't really taken accounted for, and then it was just slaughtered. And then it was like, well, how do we even maintain this like monster trail?
Yeah.
So that was kind of when I started thinking about the whole grade reversal thing into corners and managing the braking. And then once we got onto that program, I noticed the stuff just lasted so much longer. Like when it gets that blue groove in it, kind of when the tires are just like perfectly supported and not breaking.
Yeah, totally. That's a good sign when that's happening, hey? And not just like groove, massive pit in the middle of the berm, groove. It's those pits are terrifying.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Did that big ass atmospheric river hit you guys over there? Or were you kind of safe from that on the island? Since we talked, there's like this huge storm that just blew through the mainland and flooded everybody out.
Yeah, so that hit us too. I don't think as not nearly as bad. I think we got like 60 or 70 mils or something like that. But yeah, it hit us pretty hard. It's been so rainy here and snowy and sleety for the past like since we last talked. It's been wet, really friggin' wet.
Damn.
Yeah, which is good. Like when you're rebuilding something, it's nice to see where all the water's going. But at the same time, it really like we had to close the trail because the machine was on it, right? So it impacts the reopening of it too. Like I thought it was going to take 4 or 5 days to do, pack it, shape it, do everything, and it's going to be closed for the next week or two. Like probably after New Year's is when it's going to open, just because it was snowing up there yesterday when I was working, and then it turned to sleet, and then it turned to rain. So who knows how long it's going to take to like actually set up.
Yeah, hopefully people stay off of that then. It's
tricky. I'm hoping.
Tricky digging in that stuff when it's all muddy and thick. Like there's a level where it goes from the perfect dirt being moist to all of a sudden it's slop and you're trying to shape that stuff.
Yeah, you just end up making like I'll start work no matter what's going on, but like after a few hours, if it's like unrelenting rain or something like that, and you're just making a mess, I usually just walk away. I don't know, like, is that normally what you guys do? I guess you guys normally work in like just the summertime though, eh?
Yeah, but like when it gets pretty rainy, I don't know, we'll try, like depending on what we're building, like turns into more of a smearing thing with the bucket, I guess, but we're still trying to pick all the rocks out, so that gets a bit harder when it gets super wet like that. But sometimes, depending on the trail I'm building, I guess I'll just smear it with the bucket, depending on what we're doing, I guess. I have built stuff when it's like totally snowing and you almost are like mixing snow into the surface, and when you get your final shape it looks all pretty and then sits over winter, and then spring comes, then it melts and there's like full on voids in your work. So that's something I try to avoid doing now.
Big time.
The one thing I really hate doing, that a big mistake I made once, I shaped all this stuff with the machine and we were going to go back and rake it all and make it pretty, and we let winter sit on it for it to get solid. And then when spring rolled around, it was just so hard trying to bust that all up and hand tune it.
Yeah.
It was like a crust baked into the dirt. And
everything had already set. It was like ready to ride basically.
Yeah. I don't know if it was like a super hot spring, so it's just like instant easy bake oven cook, like as soon as it melted. But we were like busting it up with picks and stuff, trying to like rake it again. And
man,
that was the last time I was like, I'm going to let raw machine work sit over the winter. Now my process is more, I'm trying to leave it kind of like fully finished product every day after the machine. which isn't
Totally.
like always attainable. That's for sure.
No,
If you,
definitely not. That's something that I try and do as well. It was a lot easier when I had a helper like 3 or 4 days a week, but right now it's just myself. So trying to like keep the project moving, but also finish stuff before I leave, like that section and go to the next section is tough. But
yeah, solo is
it's
fucking
all
hard.
yeah. It's I mean it's still digging. It's still awesome, but it is like it's drastically harder when it's yourself running the machine, running the saw, and then running like the hand finishing operation too. It's doing everything at once. It's tough, but it's still awesome.
Yeah, totally. It's
Yeah.
still like it kind of plays into this one question I had written down. What do you think are your most and your least favorite parts of this job?
My most. That's a new question, eh?
Yeah, sorry, I just scribbled a bunch down as I was thinking, throwing a bunch of curveballs at you. But
Yeah. My favorite part about it is like, I mean, the cop out answers everything, but I don't think that would necessarily be true. My favorite part about it is I like winning the jobs. I like putting together the proposals, pricing everything out, winning it. I love that. I love like the autonomy you get most of the time when you're out there working in the woods alone. Like you rarely ever see anybody. You can just kind of put your headphones on, do your thing for 10, 12 hours a day, and then leave at the end of the day feeling like super accomplished no matter what you've done. It's just like the feeling leaving at the end of the day is the best feeling in the world. Looking back at what you got accomplished that day and being like, sweet, that looks awesome. I can't wait to ride it. My least favorite part is probably like deadlines, I guess.
yeah,
Deadlines and losing work stinks. Like
yeah,
losing bids, that stinks, but that's part of the that's part of the gig too. That like when I first started, if I lost a job, I felt like the whole world was over. I'm like, oh man, I'm never gonna get work again. It's over. And then
totally.
as you kind of progress through it, like a year goes by, 2 years goes by, you kind of realize like there's always going to be hopefully supplemental work that comes in to just like get you through to the next bigger project.
Cool. It's a great answer. Yeah, sometimes those days when it's just piss and rain on you, those are the days when you're like, I don't know, but it's
Yeah.
still nice. I have this thing I tell myself, I'm like, it's not a rainy day, it's just very dank. It's very lush today.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
Especially
like
in those
even yes,
17s with no canopy. Well, you got the canopy, but
dude.
it's just totally open and you're just getting.
It's yeah, you get out of the machine and somehow you're more soaked than if you're standing outside. It's like last year when I was up in Campbell River, I was working in this section of forest and we worked because that was a project with like a hard deadline that we had to meet. So we worked through every atmospheric river that rolled through like the mid island last year. And like working days, you get out there at 8, it's still dark. You hike in to the machine, you get in there, it's still dark. You stop for lunch, it's still dark. Like I worked full days with my work light on, just getting pissed on. But it was, I mean, it's all like it's all part of the gig. But those days like really make you appreciate the good days, I guess.
Totally.
And it's still like you're still getting pissed on and you're getting soaked and you're cold, but you're still like ultimately building trail, doing something that you love doing. So it's you take the good with the bad and try not to get too down on it, I guess.
Totally. Still beats the old shipyard, I guess, eh?
Dude, yeah, because there'd be days at the shipyard where you had to walk from the machine shop over to like the submarine bay. It's like a 5 minute walk, but it was pissing rain and you're right on the ocean. You're like, this job sucks. I got to get out of here. But now you walk in 25, 30 minutes with diesel, a chainsaw, everything on your back, like hiking in. And you're like, yeah, I'm just going for a nice walk in the woods, weighted down.
Just a little bit of water. Never killed
Yeah,
anybody.
exactly. No,
With said you have your headphones in while you work. What are you listening to a lot of the time?
I listen to like a lot of podcasts and audiobooks, and then like the odd day I'll listen to music if I'm really feeling it. But I don't know what I don't know if you're superstitious at all, but whenever I listen to music, I always feel like something goes wrong. Like
Really?
I'll break a pin or I'll pop a track or like something won't happen. It just happened this week. I was listening to music on my way up to Nanaimo. I get up there and my chainsaw just dies.
Dang.
Wasted half the day trying to fix it, going to the shop, everything. Wasted half a day. And it was on my way up. I was listening to music. I'm like, man, it's a beautiful sunny day. This is going to be awesome to be outside, like from sun up to sundown. This is awesome. And then first thing, I get up there, fire up the saw, it just doesn't work. Goddamn music.
Huh.
So yeah,
Never
yeah, I
thought
don't
about
know.
it. Now that you've said that, it's probably going to happen to me all the time now.
Well, I freaking hope not, because music makes everything better. But yeah, I don't know what it is. So I mostly just listen to podcasts. Like I'm a big sports fan, so I'll listen to sports talk for
Okay,
like
cool.
12 hours a day and just
Yeah.
kind of zone out.
I have this one song that I've really liked since I was a kid. I'm a big Mastodon fan, and the song's called Hearts Alive, and it's like 10 minutes long, and it just has this like crazy guitar breakdown where it's just like whenever
Sick.
when I'm in a snowcat and I need to move a shit ton of snow, I put that song on because I swear it just gives you like more power with the machine. And same when I'm in an
Yeah.
excavator just trying to grind out some big stack of dirt, I put that song
Yeah.
on, and I swear to God, it gives the machines more power when I play that song.
That's awesome.
But that's definitely one thing with the job is dealing with all the little breakdowns and shit that comes along. Like sometimes you're
Totally.
just on a roll and your fucking pin snaps on your excavator. Usually the one right in the bucket, I find, right on the knuckle. That one
Like
snaps.
the bucket and oh, really? Mine usually snaps where the thumb meets the stick.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
Okay, that's the one. Yeah, I've broken 2 of those already.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I've gone through 2 of those on the 17s.
Weird.
The last time it happened, I was like 3 days away from finishing this job, and I was in the woods and it snapped, and we couldn't find one in Revelstoke. It was like
Oh, no way.
the closest one was days away, and that was like right as I was about to be like done for the season. So I was like, well, fuck, we got to get this done. So I had like ratchet straps trying to hold it together. I was like digging without curling my bucket. I was just trying to use like excavator swing and front, forward, and back movements, and managed to get like this single track trail cut out of the woods.
Nice.
And actually, Ron, one of the last podcasts, at the exact same time, it happened to him in Prince George with his 17, and he was doing the same thing, having it duct taped up. So it was kind of funny seeing him going through the exact same thing at the exact same time as me.
Yeah, I've heard that happens on Kubotas as well. Like that same pin snaps on even on like the 4 or 5 tons.
Oh yeah.
Do you know, like, is there a movement or something that usually breaks it?
I think in general, like these little tiny machines, I think they're designed to just be spreading out mulch in someone's garden and stuff. They're not really made for like basically forestry work, like what we're putting them through. So I think the big thing is the logs, like picking up logs, because that puts so much leverage on that little pin.
Yeah, that's the 2 times I broke it. It was both like picking up these massive logs that I should have bucked, but I was being lazy.
Yeah, but
and just flinging them.
You got to do it. It's like it's hard not to, right? You buck them to like the size you can, but at the end of the day, like you got to grind. You got to get through there. So
exactly.
Happens. So now I guess if I could, I would try to have one of those pins on spare and not be caught
totally,
one of those. But they're like a $300 fucking chunk of metal too, which is pretty crazy.
It's nuts, yeah. But yeah, it would be good to, every time I break something, my spouse is always like, have one extra.
Yeah.
Do you have?
You never
extra,
know what you're gonna break though.
Exactly.
But usually
you
those
break the hose
go.
one time. Exactly. Yeah. It's frustrating, but oh well.
Yeah.
At least they're easy enough to like get in and out, right? Like it's not a super laborious job to fix that pin. It's more work trying to find one and source one than it is actually putting it back in.
Yeah, that's a nice easy one. The fucking hard one in those machines, we kept blowing the boom lift hose.
Yeah.
In that one, and it goes like right through under the cab, under the seat, and like into this valve box that's so tight together in that tiny machine.
It's nuts.
I got real good at replacing that hose.
Oh, sick.
For a guy that's like, I'm pretty not mechanically inclined whatsoever. But
right, yeah.
After a few tries on that one, I had it pretty dialed. So
that's awesome. I've only blown one hose, and it was like right when I got the machine, so it was still covered under warranty, which I was thankful for, because I was watching the tech do it, and I was like, holy shit, man, this would have taken me forever to try and fish this thing out of there.
Yeah.
That's one thing too, like having all the right tools, like all the crow's feet and the ratchets and everything like that, that's imperative to have out there.
Yeah, totally.
Something
Sometimes
I totally
you're just jerry rigging whatever the fuck you can to get it out of there.
Yeah, totally.
It was so tight. I think I ended up having to like undo 4 hoses to get back into like the furthest valve where it connects, and
Oh
like
yeah.
jamming them full of like shit wipes so that they didn't get contaminated. Like, popping out the far one.
Yeah.
Let's see. I'm trying to remember what questions we already asked and what we didn't. I think this one got cut out, but what do you think the future of trail building looks like? I think we were talking a bit more about the maintenance side of things than.
Yeah. Yeah, we were talking about the maintenance stuff, and I still think that kind of holds true. The future. It was interesting. I don't know if I have an answer, but I'm just gonna piggyback off what you and Ron were talking about. It's interesting hearing you guys talk about the e-mountain bike side of things, and like, were you guys? Did I misinterpret? Were you guys talking about like full e-bike zones?
Kind of, yeah. Like we built, like still good for other bikes, of course, but
Yeah.
mostly just like having support in the corners so that like your up tracks almost flow the same way as downhill trails. And by the
Right.
way, fucking e-bike companies, where's my paycheck? I'm just advertising
Yeah.
and pushing these fucking e-bikes for nothing.
Yeah, man.
But yeah, these days I love my e-bike. If there's one thing I could tell any trail builder to invest in, it's an e-bike. Just what you're able to do with them.
It's high on my list. Like,
They're
especially
expensive. It's a big purchase, but
it's a massive purchase, and like, it's not. You will see the benefit of it financially, like when you're actually able to get more work done by getting in and out faster. But just as like an upfront cost to spend however many thousands of dollars on it, it's a really tough pill to swallow.
totally.
I've been
Yeah.
trying to figure out a way to like make it work for the past 3 years or however long I've been doing it. And I still haven't figured out a way. Maybe it's probably because I'm bad with numbers, but
I was able to get like a pretty decent discount on one that was used that belonged to one of the companies we were working for at one point.
sick.
So that was super nice. And I kind of justified it as like, well, it's going to be like a fun tool / like a tool for work that I can use. Then as soon as you touch it, it's like a fucking crack. It's like a drug. Like e-bikes should be a Schedule 1 drug. Just like, you can't put it down once you touch it.
Habit
So,
forming.
yeah, I'm like, oh, I need this for work, but it's like, no, this thing is
Totally.
my downhill bike grows cobwebs on it.
Yeah, it's like I've been thinking about it every day, pedaling in to the spot I'm at in Nanaimo, because it's like I got the saw, I got the diesel, I got a sawzall and a couple batteries and my lunch and all my water. It's just like grinding up that road, and then like you guys were talking about in one of the other episodes, once you start building, it's kind of a toss up if you're going to build or ride. Most of the time it's going to building, so then your fitness goes down. So you're sucking wind the whole time. You get up to the machine, you're just gassed. Luckily, you can take a break.
Yeah, my beer gut got so huge when I went from being a machine builder to like going from a hand shaper as a kid, when I could just like fucking eat food and drink beers after work and stuff. And then I started like being in a machine year time, and my chin doubled up and my gut started hanging out.
100%.
So you really gotta, like, you're gassed after being in a machine all day, but like you gotta.
It's more like mentally.
You're more
mentally tired than like physically tired. But yeah, it's alarming how quick your fitness goes. Like when I started biking and building, they both kind of happened at the same time. But I was running ultra marathons, and then I hurt my knee, and then I got into biking. So like my fitness was already there, and then like shaping the pump tracks, doing all that stuff was like everything was kind of like compounding. And then I got the machine, started my own company, and then everything just like cliffed over. And now the fitness is completely gone. And I was like, okay, I'm going to ride every weekend. I'm going to ride once a week while I'm working at home. And I think I've rode 2 weeks in a row since September or something like that. It's just been like, I think I've rode probably 8 times since I got back from Terrace.
Yeah, it's tough too. And I'm sure being like a business owner adds a whole extra level of stress and behind the scenes work that takes away your time a lot more too.
Sometimes it definitely does. Like when there's 3 or 4 bids that are up at the same time, or that kind of stuff, that's where a lot of your time goes. Like you're up at 4:30 or 5 doing pricing, and then going to work for 10 hours, coming back, working on it a bit more and then going to bed and getting up and doing that for like a week or two at a time. But
Yeah,
yeah,
definitely hard. Yeah, that's a sign.
then you win
of
one, and
life.
it's the best feeling in the world. So
Totally.
yeah.
I think that's pretty much it as far as stuff we didn't get to. There's the inspirations and mentors question that I think we wanted to redo. If you want to go into
Yeah.
that a bit.
Okay. Yeah. There's been a massive amount of people that have helped me like start the company, get my first job, kind of took me under their wing and kind of taught me the proper way of doing things. And that's like, Mark Woods helped me get my first job up in Campbell River, which was massive because that kind of set in motion everything. So he's definitely one of the guys. And then Tay Hansen that I mentioned in the first section with Momentum Mountain Solutions. He's helped a lot too.
Cool.
Just like constantly. Yeah. He like the first job we did was out here in Gowland Todd, and I just worked with him like as an employee. And I kind of mentioned that I wanted to start building trails on my own. So he got this job and said that I could subcontract to him so I could get something for my portfolio, which was a massive help just starting the thing, right? Like you need work to be able to bid on stuff. So
for sure.
Yeah. And then like local guys too, like Bob and the Almonds have been great. Bob and the Almonds were the big guys around here that helped me out. And Alex.
Is that Bob Weeks, I think? I think I've seen him on Instagram here and there.
Yeah, so I started building with him. Like he was kind of the first guy I started building with. And he's been a massive help. And the first time I ever got paid was with a guy named Alex building a hand-built trail at the Geordie Lund Bike Park. And that's kind of when I realized like you could get paid for it.
Cool. Fuck, so, I want to check out that Geordie Lund Bike Park. It looks really fun.
It's fun, man. Yeah, it's a good time.
It's like it kind of looks like the island version of the bike ranch, but like really island style with totally different than the bike ranch, but same idea, like the bike park right in a municipality like that.
Yeah, like there's, I don't know, the majority of the trails there, all but two, I think, are hand built or are machine built. Like all the up tracks are machine built. There's like 3 blue, 2 blacks, and a double black. It's a pretty cool mix of everything. There's not a whole lot of like really progressive jumps. That's the only thing I'll say. But it's a super fun place. Like it's the most rockin' zone out here for sure.
Was that Geordie Lund's actual zone too?
No, that wasn't. His was like out in the Saanich area. I'll just say.
Yeah.
Like kind of out. Yeah, out.
Out somewhere that doesn't need to be said publicly, I guess.
Totally, yeah. But no, it was just kind of like it was a zone that because Langford had a bunch of development, so it was just a big green space for everybody that Langford funded fully. It was pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet.
Cool.
Yeah, and it keeps growing too, and like they have maintenance there full time year round. Like there's 2 or 3 guys that do full time maintenance there.
Nice. That's good to see.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
Full time trail building jobs. Always good to see.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so I guess that would kind of be, and then just like inspiration, you just see it all on Instagram and YouTube and stuff like that. Just like anybody who's building trails, it doesn't matter if it's like a hiker or the sickest jump line you've ever seen. Like anybody who's kind of doing it and making something look nice, has a nice kind of overall user experience. Like the stuff that Howler does, he does everything, right? Like bike trails, hiking trails, massive bridge installations, like that stuff's really cool. Like having a massive scope that you can kind of like a well-rounded like trail infrastructure, I guess. Background. I think that stuff's really sweet because then you're like biking's always going to be the pinnacle, right? Like you always want to make bike trails. But I think like, especially for me, because I can work year round, having experience in all sorts of infrastructure, like recreation infrastructure.
Yeah.
I think is going to serve me better as a business owner than just a guy who's building bike trails.
Having a wide variety of skills. I was looking through your Instagram there and like there's all sorts of stuff you've done, like the stairs down to a beach, it looked like. Those look really sick. I've never done anything like that before, but it was like
those are really fun. An atmospheric river took out the bottom section of those. Unfortunately, it was like an atmospheric river and a king tide, and it just kind of destroyed the bottom, but all the stairs are still there. So they got I don't know what they had to do. They had to pull permits with the Department of Fisheries and Oceans, and like they cribbed everything in with concrete. The overall structure of the stairs are still there, which that was a wicked one. And then that boardwalk, and then I'm doing another set of stairs down to a beach in January or February, but luckily it's way further away from like the actual beach. So I'm looking forward to that. That one's going to be fun.
Cool to have those other skills. I've never done
Yeah.
much of that stuff. I have a buddy, Dan Kennedy, I used to work with, and now that's kind of what he does, is those kind of projects. I wish I knew the name of the company he was with. Yeah, I'm always asking him about like the types of shit they're building. They're like bringing bridges in with helicopters and putting them
Sick.
down and finding different ways to make like foundations and stuff for bridges. So that's something I'd like to get into eventually.
Doing that's like we expand, and like more experience and more knowledge is never a bad thing. Like the worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to do something and you're going to find out, oh, I don't really like doing this. There's not really anywhere to make money. The margins are too small, but you still have the overall knowledge. And like, that's a great thing. New experiences are never a bad thing. But yeah, I think I don't know. I just enjoy learning and like pushing myself.
Totally.
Because it's easy to become like complacent and just kind of like lose your love or passion for something, I guess. Yeah. I don't know if that's for everybody, but like, I like to always kind of be pushing forward and evolving and trying to figure out new things, keeping my brain stimulated, I guess. Maybe that's why I listen to podcasts all day.
Yeah. It's easy to get stuck in your ways when you do stuff a long time. I feel like that podcast I did with Ron, we almost sound like a couple of crusty fuckwads, just like a little stuck in the way maybe.
But no way, man, because you guys were still talking about like how everything's evolving and changing from job to job. So like, however you break anything down in your brain, you're still like, that was still a good kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh no. It was still cool to like see how you guys were talking about evolving and changing things, and like the grade reversals going into corners versus like plunging corners. And then like even those bucket corners with the sump on the inside, having it drain out. Like that's something that I fight all the time. And I never even, it was just something new, right? Like you don't know how to implement it, as stupid as that sounds. Like
no, at all.
Even like building a lip, you want to outslope it so that you don't get that stupid puddle in the transition, right? But why would you, thinking of like outsloping going into a straight up lip seems kind of counterintuitive. So then do you crown it? And if you crown it, you're still going to get a puddle there potentially if it keeps wearing in over time. So have everything like insloped. I don't know. It was a cool conversation. It didn't come across as stuck in your ways or like anything like that. It was cool to hear.
Sweet. Yeah. Because this afternoon, I'm going to be putting one out with Dane Tudor, who's a builder at Red. And the conversation is just completely opposite of everything we talked about. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that at all. But it's going to show like just how different everyone's processes are. And trail building in general is kind of known as everyone gets a little stuck in their ways. So as I get older, I'm really trying to keep an open mind. I know when I was younger, you get like a bit of ego going.
Yeah.
So it's neat to talk to guys like you, especially that are doing a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, it's cool. I appreciate you reaching out, man. It's cool because I like the work you do is pretty sweet too. So I always enjoy looking at the stuff you do. So for you to actually like even care about what I'm doing is pretty cool.
Well, I really appreciate you wanting to do this, man. I think that's pretty much it for all the questions I had for you.
Okay.
Where can people find you if they want to see your work or maybe even want to get you involved with their projects they got?
I have an Instagram page. It's just Bronson Trailworks. And then the website's just bronsontrailworks.com. Everything, you can get in touch with me, website or Instagram.
Hell yeah. Cool, man. Okay. Well, yeah, appreciate you doing this again after I fucked that up and deleted our whole conversation.
No worries, man. Anytime. Thanks again. I appreciate it.
Right on, dude.